Hello, listeners. I just want to give a special thank you to One Clan Apparel for being our first ever sponsors. One Clan Apparel is a clothing line that appreciates art and the artists that design it. Their goal is to sell your art to great customers. They are a brand that is looking forward to growing and exposing the talent that there is in this world. They have a nice variety of shirts to choose from, so check them out at oneclanapparel.com. And once again, thank you, One Clan Apparel, for sponsoring our podcast.
Hola y bienvenidos a FIFA 2000. I mean, wait a minute, that button was on. I mean, hello and welcome to All Strength.
No int.
My name is Steve, your smooth operator.
And my name's Eric. We'll just go with Eric.
Want to give a special thanks out before we get started.
I want to thank our friend Luke, Big Luke, for the artwork. Thank you. Appreciate it. Check him out on Facebook at Rohen117.
That's ROEHN 117. And also, we want to give a special thank you out to One Clan Apparel for being our first ever sponsor. So
Thank you, sirs.
we enjoy the shirts. Thank you very much, sir. And so let's talk about our topic.
Actually, before we start,
That's right.
I want to welcome our special guest today, Mr. Edgar.
Hey, how's it going?
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
we're gonna have as our special guest to talk about our favorite games, top 10, because we're not cliche at all, right, guys?
I don't know if it's going to be 10.
Oh yeah, well, we'll see. It might be close to 10
Top 3 for each.
Yeah,
Top-
I was
okay,
gonna say.
so
I
top
think it's per
9
person, right?
per
Yeah.
person. Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Eric, go ahead.
No, ladies first.
Oh, ladies first. Okay, Edgar, go ahead.
What's going on?
Just playing. All right, so if I gotta go with top 3 games, the first one I want to start with is going to be, let's see, Resident Evil 2. Does
That's
anyone-
all right.
It's aight.
Go
I
ahead.
don't know. It's pretty good. I mean, they're remaking that game right now, so it's got to be good after what? Almost what? It came out in 1997. It's gonna be almost
21 years?
yeah, mathematics. I know it. So 21 years, and I remember playing that game. It was a very nostalgic game because I don't know. I had to been something like 8, 9,
21 years? You were 10.
10. Thank you.
Okay.
Really bad at math, like I said. 10 years old, and I mean, even at 10 years old, I mean, playing a game where it's just pure gore and glory, it's just amazing. And at this time the graphics were beyond its time, if you ask me. So it was something that was just amazing, and I'm pretty sure that game came out 1997, 1998. So that was like the event of the whole like pre-rendered background, so everything just looked super amazing. And not to mention that game, the replay value when it came to that, I mean, you started off with scenario A, you had a disc. I know a lot of people don't know what a disc is, a CD disc, but the second disc was also a scenario with Claire. So you had Claire and Leon, and once you completed that, if you were good enough, if you actually got graded at the end of it, if you actually were able to get through that horror, and you got a good grade on it, which would be not saving and continuing with you're conserving your bullets, all that good stuff, then you were actually able to play a second part to it. And the second part, it allowed you to keep your weapons, you got extra costumes, and eventually you got to like the survival mode of it, which was the 5th survivor, or the 4th survivor, excuse me. And that was with I forgot his name. I think it was Hunk. And it's just amazing. You can play that game, and it's just,
What type of game is it?
it's I guess at that time they call it horror survival or suspense. I'm
It's like a
assuming.
third person.
Yeah, it's a
shooter,
third person shooter, horror suspense. I mean, if you haven't heard of it, like you probably were born after that, or you played the newer ones most likely when it comes to Resident Evil. Of course, everyone's heard of the movies when it comes to that, loosely based off that those video games because of the popularity they had in the late 90s. So I don't know. To me, it's a game that I think about whenever I think of like the first real console that was actually mine in my family, because I had Nintendo, I had Super Nintendo, but that was shared. But the PlayStation was mine. That's what I wanted, and that was pretty much the first game that I played. So To go from Super Mario to like, zombies and people eating each other was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It did have good graphics back in the day. Back in the day.
Back in the day. Now it looks like trash, but
All right. That's pretty cool. I'll start off with one since we're going back to the late 90s, 98. Banjo Kazooie. It's actually one of the games that me and my brother used to play a lot, and that's kind of why I enjoyed it. We don't really see eye to eye most of the time, but pretty nice. Spend time with my brother, and it was a platform game, and it's like a bear carrying a little bird in his backpack, and if the third person also, you control them. You control them, and they both had special abilities. You can glide with the bird in the back and stuff like that, which was pretty fun. Puzzles, and the whole thing about it was you were the bear, with the bird, and there was a witch that was trying to take your sister, the bear's sister's, beauty away so she can become beautiful.
wow.
Yeah. So I mean that's loose thing explanation about how it was, but yeah, it was just puzzles. I mean that thing was super hard to play. Like now you can Google stuff and you can find out how to do some of the puzzles, but like back in the day, like
You had
holy
like
crap.
Game Informer,
Yeah,
and like
and you
word
had
of
to
mouth.
buy it, and the tricks and tips was the magazine.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, and yeah.
Or N64 had one too, right?
Well, that was Informer, was it?
Was it?
Was it?
Game Informer? I think that too, but something like that.
Yeah, I mean, well, I was 10 back then, so couldn't
Couldn't
afford magazines for that, So like you would actually have to try and then figure out how to do the puzzles and get to the next level. And technically, it was puzzle pieces, so you had to get puzzle pieces.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, that one was really fun. And back then, those graphics were pretty amazing for a cartoon.
Yeah, in fact, I think they look smoother than like the polygon look in PlayStation, so it looked pretty nice back then.
Yeah.
I remember going to your house and thinking, man, I wish I had a 64.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I like the 64 a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the paddles that you always called them. I
Man,
mean, the remote control.
puddles or puddles.
Oh my god.
Paddles, dude. Just kidding.
All right. Moving on, Edgar. What's up? What's your favorite game?
I don't know. It's actually interesting that you guys were going kind of back into like the 90s or whatever, and talking about the games that you started witnessing there. Because I guess I got into the game a little late, so to speak. But I mean, I'll bring it back to the console days too. I guess one of the big games for me was Gran Turismo, particularly
True.
3.
Classic.
It's been around since 1997, and basically had like a 2-year release date up until Gran Turismo 3. And I didn't own any type of game system that would play it up until that one. And that just got me really into it. I remember, I believe even in Gran Turismo 4, I printed out entire documents on how to adjust the springs, the suspension, just to make like the whole thing the car drift.
Dude, you're hardcore.
Yeah,
And-
you can get it. It got into really good detail. Actually, I forgot about that game too. You just brought it up. I remember there was like an unlimited lap mode where like you can just keep going. It's like
Yeah.
you would pause the game, come back like in a couple hours, and then continue. Because
Actually, I was gonna touch on that because for a while, I don't know if it was for PlayStation or PlayStation 2. I basically couldn't afford like a memory card, and B, my mom wouldn't buy me one. So I would play
Same.
the game like endurance races, and I would play them like an hour, 2-3 hours until I get kicked off. Literally leave the game running and like try to hide the light so it doesn't look like it's on, and pick it up the next day. That way, I just start fucking lap 100 of 300 or something.
dude, those things were rough, but it was awesome.
Yeah,
How
I mean,
did the RAM on these PS1s not die or something, you know?
I don't know, man.
They were built tough.
But yeah, it was weird because not weird, but it was just fun being in like that racing world, because obviously a lot of that was me just liking cars in general, and that kind of paved the way into like Need for Speed, which realistically I didn't get into the first initial speeds up until I think Need for Speed Underground, because I think that's primarily I don't know. I guess I fell into the hype of like drifting and cars and
Fast
crap
and
like
the
that.
Furious.
Yeah, no,
say
exactly.
that.
The
I was gonna
original
say,
Fast and the Furious.
You went from
pre
Gran
Tokyo
Turismo
Drift
to Tokyo Drift.
Yeah.
That thing was awesome though, man. And then the soundtrack for
Oh, dude, they were
the
great.
Underground was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was like one of probably the first. Not only can you modify your car similar, I guess not as advanced as Gran Turismo 3, but you get to see the cool wings, the fucking ground effect, the body kits.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you're
awesome.
young like that, I mean, high school age or whatever. Yeah, we were in high school. Like at that point, that's kind of what you looked up to. That's what you wanted. That's what you wanted to drive. So I think it just followed it along with our timeline like perfectly.
Which is the one that had the favorite game song by that one?
That's
chick?
Gran Turismo
Okay.
too.
I thought so.
Yeah. So that is before I started playing it. I mean, obviously, I love that song. But yeah, it was just fun being in that
Dope.
time.
Dope. Yeah, no, I just heard that song karaoke and it reminded me of playing that game. But it was pretty crazy how that happens. Okay, well, how about
Wait, before you jump ahead. Speaking of memory cards and not having one, it reminded me of Metal Gear Solid and Horacio, one of our other friends.
Oh, I mean, I did the same thing as him. So I don't know if he had the second one, right? I'm pretty sure he had Metal Gear Solid 2 and he played the whole game and he had to leave it on. And who kicked it? Did someone kick it? Clemente kicked his save file. Well, not save file because he couldn't save. And our friend Horacio just went, ape shit on him because that was his whole time he had spent doing that. What's funny story about that, real quick too? I mean, we're talking about Metal Gear Solid not having a save. When I first got my PS3, I didn't have a memory card either, and like just like you said, like my mom was like, "Hell no, I'm not buying you one," because they were kind of expensive for memory cards back then. They were like $50 for some reason or
It
30.
was almost more expensive than a paddle.
Exactly. I don't know. It was ridiculous. But anyways, I played Metal Gear Solid. I think he had number 1. I played Metal Gear Solid 2, and now that I look back to where I got to, I was literally like 15 minutes away from the ending. And I played like all night long, and I was like, once I realized when I got back to that point and I actually got a memory card, I was just like, damn it. I was like, I can't believe I went through all that for nothing. Seemingly nothing.
The things we would do back then.
Yeah. All right, so I mean, I guess we'll go back a little bit further than 1998. Actually, no, we'll go right to 1998. Actually, one of my all-time favorite games, influential games for me, would be Final Fantasy VIII. I'm not sure if a lot of people share that with me. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people love Final Fantasies as a whole, genre when it comes to RPG and the whole series itself. But Final Fantasy VIII was like one of the first games for me that I realized that the potential when it came to video games. I know I'm sounding kind of like, oh my god, it's the greatest game ever, but it's because of the story that was told. It was 4 discs on a PS1, but it
only ever got to this 2.
This 2.
Game kept messing up.
It's a really amazing game. I mean, it's especially when you're growing up, at that age. Like you said, I was like 10 or 11 at that age. The story or the premise is that you are basically in like a school where you learn basic things just like you would, but at the same time you're also learning how to be a mercenary. And it's revealed to you later that you're being a mercenary to protect people, but at first it just seems like, it's just like something that's part of their normal life. Kind of like, if it happened to us, like, but just it's the fantasy part of it where you have the
GFs.
Yeah, you have guardian forces, which are summoned monsters, and you have guns that are also a revolver. You have
sword?
A sword, excuse me. A sword that's also a revolver, and then you have magic where you can shoot out of your hands, and there's these sorcerers, and it's amazing. You get really like I said, the story, you get really like into the characters, and you can relate to some of them if you're, especially at that during that age, kids are emo, you're all of a sudden you're trying to find yourself, and you're just like, what the hell's going on? But anyways, not to talk about myself here. It's like I said, it's a game that I always go back to. It's a game that like I said, like, it really opened my eyes to video games in general. Like, before it would just be like a fun thing, you would just play it and you'd pick it up and you'd play with friends and you'd smash buttons and you'd fight each other, like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat. but this is one of the first games where I actually felt like I was part of the game, almost like I'm an observer of a movie, but at the same time,
It's funny how you renamed all the characters to our names. I don't know. I thought it was kind of weird.
What?
No.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you can change the names and everything. It's like, yeah, Steve, Eric, and Edgar, and Edgar's the girl.
Perfect.
Perfect.
I'll do you right.
No, but I mean, it's like I said, it's been an influential game for me. I mean, I even have a tattoo from Final Fantasy VIII. One of the guardian force of the GFs, Reaper on me. So, this holds a special place in my heart. And my butt. I mean, my heart.
That was a fun game.
Yeah, I mean, it's something like it's like the Final Fantasies of all of them. Like, you know, they all have good stories, but that one just happened to. You could relate to that one a little bit more than the other ones, though.
It's so weird because I had never gotten into any of the Final Fantasy games. I'd always heard everybody talking about it around high school. And never once have I ever played it.
I think the thing that drew me towards it, like I would have never, because it's text to talk. You know, you have to read it. But I think the initial thing that actually brought me to it was the music, because it's composed by a Nobu.
Will.
That's right.
It is, man. It
really is. It really is, and it's produced by Nobu Otomitsu, I think, and that guy is super famous for all his music he makes. I think he's been making it since like the first game. So, but yeah, that's my second one.
Well, my second one. I mean, it's kind of two at the same time.
Cheater.
It's around the same time, 98, 99, or a little earlier too. StarCraft and Warcraft 3, Reign of Chaos, and Frozen Throne. Man, RTSs. I used to love RTSs. Before then, they had Command and Conquer and stuff, but I never really got into it. There wasn't really a storyline, but like StarCraft and Warcraft 3, their cutscenes are just amazing. So like I really got into those. And RTS stands for real time strategy. I did finish all the campaigns, but I enjoyed online play more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, I played a lot with you. I mean, you forced me to a lot of times, but you know.
Yeah, you know. Hey man, remember we used to, when we were kids, we didn't really have internet or fast internet. And I used to beam my internet over to your house because you used to live across the street.
Yep.
And we would play StarCraft.
True friend.
I mean, at some point, you even started putting your router on top of your roof, from what I remember.
Yeah.
Just because you guys were in like there was a
huge
space.
trash can in front of the way for a while.
I remember that.
He'd be like, "Yo, Eric, we're gonna play games," and he would put it on the side.
Yeah.
Because there was like a wall that he shared with another place, and he would put that up, and I would get the signal. It was like a pretty good directional signal.
Yeah, it was a directional antenna that would beam straight to your freaking room.
It was amazing.
Yeah, and we would play StarCraft, and it had the spawn version, so you didn't really have the game, but you can play with me. Man,
could you do that in Warcraft too? Because that's the first one we played.
I don't remember because
I played on 56K with you, dude.
I don't know.
Let's dial up for
with I know. Well, Warcraft 3, you can play not online without a CD key. I think that's what we did.
Yeah, that's what we did.
And you can just dial in directly to somebody.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, that was like that. Exactly.
So, I mean, that thing is just amazing. If you like storylines of Warcraft, I mean, I'm still reading their books. The latest one just came out 2 days ago, and I'm like 6 hours into it. So, yeah, if you guys like storylines, Warcraft has one of the best storylines. Even StarCraft.
I want to say team play. I mean, if you want to play with your friends.
Even team play, it's freaking amazing. I mean, you start with just your town hall or your main town center, and then you have your builders and stuff. You just collect resources, and then you build an army. You gotta kill the other people. That's pretty much the basis of it. On StarCraft, in Warcraft 3, they added an element where you have a hero, so you can level up your hero. And you control microing is like a huge thing for Warcraft 3. That's where you had to like micromanage your units and your heroes. And pretty much the person that did the best at micromanaging was the top player.
That was actually one of the things that they compared, especially when StarCraft 3 came out, or StarCraft 2, sorry, is StarCraft is a lot more macro based, so you have to manage your resources a lot more. but Warcraft is a lot of micromanagement primarily because of the hero aspect of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, if that hero levels up, he's going to become ungodly against like another player. So when you learn to manage like your minions and then your hero, you're basically unstoppable.
Yeah, I used to play with guys that they would just have 2 heroes and that's all they needed. They didn't even build an army.
Real quick before we end this one for this one, I just remember one time I thought you were like the best player in Warcraft 3.
Damn.
And it comes to this point. This guy challenged you to play, and you're like, I got this guy. But he literally built like one hero, I think it was a paladin, and then he built, I don't know if you remember this, and then he built a archmage,
Yeah.
and then he built another, I forget what it was, something else that
The blood elf.
the blood elf. And this guy literally stomped on you
Chaos.
from one hero all the way down to the second one. And you tried your best and you last like 15 minutes, but it was just like, wow, dude. He had that micromanagement down when it came down to the heroes, and good point.
Well, I found out later those guys were hacking. So they saw everything I was doing before. But yes, that guy did really well with one hero.
The classic hacking explanation. I got.
No,
I'm
he
just
had
kidding,
he
dude.
had
I'm
a
just
map hack,
messing.
and he said it like because I was asking him for help or whatever. We were playing a lot, but he knew which camps weren't farmed because there's neutral camps where you can level up your
Right.
hero, and he farmed all those before I could. Or while I was farming them, he would come and attack me.
Hmm.
So he would harass me while I was trying to take care of.
It wasn't
the
that guy
actual-
Miguel, was it?
No, it was
Okay,
just
because
a
I'd be that
random-
guy and he was hacking me, so I'm just saying.
No.
All right, cool. All right, so Edgar, what's your next one?
Actually, I'm gonna stick with the StarCraft because, like honestly, StarCraft is like one of the first computer games that I ever received. And actually, I want to go into like I'm gonna say a little more personal story behind it because, the person that basically introduced me to StarCraft has unfortunately passed away due to a hiking incident. His name's John Judy.
Cristiano Yin
Yeah,
that guy.
John Judy Santillanon.
There you go.
I don't know if names are okay, but yeah, he actually gave me a burned copy. I mean, this is basically when that's what we were doing. We were sharing computer games and just sharing games and stuff like that. And I mean, realistically, it's like, you know, that first stereotypical hit a Coke or whatever. The first one's always free or whatever. And then you're just like addicted. And realistically, that's what got me addicted or like even hooked to just about every Blizzard game, especially StarCraft. I mean, StarCraft was the main reason I started getting into computers in general. So it's not, I guess, the game, it's just what it represents as a whole. Because I remember we started to do our first LAN party. My Windows 98 computer couldn't handle it. Your cousin, or Eric's cousin, essentially gave me Windows XP, and we upgraded my computer from Windows 98 to Windows XP. This was like my first major upgrade ever of a computer. And
For
this
a
was
LAN party.
Yeah, this was all for a LAN party, just so we can get our computers connected and working. Because I mean, we had done dial-up and stuff like that, or you know, stuff over the internet, but that was normal. Like this kind of brought a lot more into not just games in general, but just
Nerd
life.
beginnings.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's why I'm basically a tech today. But yeah, no, he gave me that CD key. And I would use it. I think after a while, if you use the duplicate CD key, they would ban you or not let you use it. But I don't think that was the case because apparently,
I don't think it ever happened for StarCraft, yeah.
yeah, I don't think for StarCraft 1 on BattleNet or whatever that they
Because
blocked
you could spawn it, yeah.
Well, that too, but one of the biggest, I'm gonna say, secrets that was ever leaked out when it came to StarCraft 1 was the CD key, 1111111, etc. And for the CD key, if you type that in, it works because that's what their like algorithm thought was okay.
Yeah.
And apparently, when people started finding that out, that was just spread like wildfire throughout the internet.
And this is before like patches and stuff like that.
Oh,
so-
absolutely. I mean, this is probably one of the first, or you know, when they started, I'm gonna say DRM.
Yeah.
But obviously they don't have like online checks and stuff like that, so they were literally giving you keys or codes or stuff like that that you would input.
Wow.
And I mean, it's funny because it was never checked for duplicates. DRM is digital rights management. It's basically to protect content designers or software designers from people essentially stealing their software. So I mean, I'm gonna say in general, piracy is basically what led to free demos, free trials, and stuff like that that are here today. Like that's why you get betas. That's why World of Warcraft lets you play up until level 20, yeah, for free, because they want you to
Try it
play,
out.
try it out. And I mean, even Overwatch has like their free weekends and stuff like that, just so people can play, because they know that realistically people aren't gonna just pay money because they don't know what it is. They want to experience it first, see if that's what they're into.
It's also called microtransactions. That's why they do.
And
well, I mean, microtransactions is predominantly in like the free to play world.
yeah,
I mean, granted, there are stuff like I don't know, Counter-Strike. Well, that's free to play though, right? Or CS:GO.
no,
No,
it's
you have
not.
to pay 20. It's like 20.
Oh, that's right. It's been
It's,
so long
I
since
think
I
it's
Still
bought it.
expensive. Man.
Yeah, I just remember that I did pay for it.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Sorry to chime in. I remember back in junior high. I think it was junior high. Me and you like went up against two of the Asian guys at school that were like the best at StarCraft. I don't know if you remember. And they were map hacking, like clearly map hacking. So you turned on the map hack and we beat them. And they were like so mad because we're Mexican. And they lost to us. I don't remember.
I don't know how
Jonathan
well that
and
one's gonna
something.
play out. But no, yeah, it was like literally my neighbor and his friend.
yeah.
They were Filipino actually. But yeah, no, they
right.
played, and yeah, no, I mean, map hacks were super easy
thing.
to find back then. Like you can literally type in map hack and it wouldn't be blocked or anything like that from DMCA or whatever the copyright thing is that Google has that basically blocks you from finding books and crap like that online. But they didn't really have that back then. You can just find a map hack, install it, and there was no detection or anything like that.
you guys remember
Anti-cheating
like
technology.
crazy that game was? Like it even was on Nintendo 64. I
Yeah.
played with Eric.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's what you guys were saying. That
We were
Eric
renting.
had it for N64.
Yeah,
It's
I
ridiculous.
rented it. I rented
Okay.
it because I just wanted to see how it was, but it's ridiculous. I mean, you're supposed to build an army, and with those, like, there's units to counter some other units. So you can literally look at it's a split screen, so you can literally look at the other person what he's building and counter it just like
So
that.
I didn't even know that it was
Oh, split
multiplayer on the
screen. Oh,
same
man.
console. That's
Yes.
Don't look at my screen. I
Up to
hated
4
that, man.
people, dude.
dude, that's perfectly when you literally divide the room in half and put walls.
That's why I
and
love
shit
Counter
up
Strike because then
everywhere.
there was no more sharing screens.
No, that's true.
No, but yeah, like I said, that's basically what why StarCraft is like mine. It's more than just the game. It's more like the story behind it for me,
Yeah.
at least.
Dope.
True that.
Did not know that. Edgar. So I mean, I have a lot that I can choose from. I'm like thinking Last of Us, but I'm like, no, it's too recent. I'm thinking Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I mean, that's kind of like my origin story. That's like the first game I started playing and
You
whipping
mean
ass.
Killer Instinct Gold?
Killer Instinct Gold. That's a pretty good game too. Thinking Heroes of New Earth. That's one of my favorite games I play now. But
It was broken, so.
I mean,
sure.
All right.
Heroes of North was maybe as good. I mean, it's great because of the concept that it took on just the
Dota.
Dota or MOBA style
MOBA worlds, yeah.
games. Like it kind of sucks that it was taken over. I guess that it didn't blow up as big as it could have been.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's really good and it looks the graphics.
Oh,
but
it's very like reactive to your actions and stuff like that. Like
That's what I like about it. It's a lot
Fast
lot
action.
faster.
it
game
feels faster,
Yeah,
like the
'cause Dota-
movements and everything
yeah,
like
Dota,
that.
There's a slight delay.
That's one of my biggest like complaints about Dota is I think they added that stupid turn radius turn primarily
They kinda
because
took it
of
away.
Batrider.
they kind of took it away now.
Well,
Yeah, so it's just
they
like a slower
definitely fixed it.
response time.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lag time when you're ever inputting something into any type of system, any computer. Anyone who's played a video game
Right.
will know that. But yeah, you're right. It is a little bit slower.
Yeah.
But sorry to throw Scent of Blood in the water there. I actually wasn't going to talk about Heroes of New Earth. I actually was going to talk
that's what we're
about.
passionate about, man. That's why we're here. That's why
I was
we're here.
thinking Counter Strike because it's it's a game that we've all played, we've all been there. But what I really want to talk about was actually a game that came out before that, and I'm actually kind of touchy about it. I'm actually kind of a little hurt about it. It's called Red Faction. Why are you laughing instantly when I said Red Faction?
Nothing.
Okay.
You're good at that
Hey,
game.
he's touching.
Oh,
Leave
okay.
him alone.
So I'm talking about Red Faction 1 and 2. So Red Faction, the first one, to give you a backstory, I'm pretty sure this is gonna be Eric's next game, but 007 GoldenEye was it's a rough game. I mean, especially playing on Nintendo 64, trying to play with a first person shooter, one of the first ones. The remote controls were horrendous to say the least.
Easy.
But once you got the hang of it, they're great. In fact, I invert my aim because of GoldenEye still, and all my games except for mouse games because that would be weird.
It's weird because in a lot of games, I think the first movement I make, especially shooting games,
Yeah.
I assume they're inverted.
Me too. All
Even
the time.
though
Even cameras
almost
on third
none of them
person.
are anymore. But because of that, it's ingrained in you. Like you have to kind of
On a console, even if it's a third person and I need to change the camera, it throws me off because I'm just like, what? Like Kingdom Hearts, for example, or anything like that. But when it comes to Red Faction, one of my favorite games, and it was a great story for its time, great graphics for its time, and I was really good at the multiplayer. And I just remember one day I was like, you know what? Eric has beat me at 007. His brother has mocked me at this game. And
Get the gun, Steve.
I was like, I'm gonna bring this game to Eric's house and I'm gonna beat his ass.
It was at your house.
It was your house.
No, it was a party.
It was at my house too, but it was also your house. The first time was your house. Who remembers this story when they got
Me?
their ass beat?
It was hilarious.
I remember it was at your it was at your house first. Sorry, one second. It was at
He gets teary eyed.
Sorry about that.
I
was
saw the
like
chance and I took it.
it. Yeah, so I took it to Eric's house, played it, or I played it with him, had all his confidence in the world, and he beat me by like about 10 kills.
First time ever playing.
First time I ever played, that's right. Shut up. And then
was a
kept on
gift.
playing that game.
Gift.
Shut up, dude. Kept on playing that game when the second one came out. It was pretty amazing, and to my surprise, Oscar actually had that game on GameCube, and we actually played it pretty regularly. And all I remember is that no one could touch me in that game. I actually wish in that time Eric would have came over because I wanted to test my skills. I actually want to see where I'd end up in at that time. But I mean, literally, no one could touch me. It would be 3v1 and a death match. I'd be like, okay, now I have more targets to get more kills. It'd be like capture the flag. I'd be like, okay, I'm totally fine. I can do this. I could still win. It wasn't until they gave me handicaps plus capture the flag that they were actually able to beat me 3v1.
All I remember from that game is that Steve cheated, and every time we said you were not supposed to use the gun that sees
The
through
rail
walls.
gun.
The
But he
real
used it
gun.
every
Okay, look,
single
listen. If
time,
it's part of
no
the
matter
game,
what
you
we
can
did.
use
Even
it.
though we specifically said don't do it, but he still
But
did
it sounds like Steve.
because he couldn't win otherwise. So you
Oh,
know.
no! I
Sorry.
proved.
No.
I proved I can win
Listen.
without it, and you guys still got
Two
mad.
versus,
Hey,
two versus
this
one.
is
I'm
all
just saying.
it.
Let's bring Clemente
Alright.
in next time. And
Hey,
All
he
strength, no
he
win
can
here, guys.
verify.
Oscar.
Jerry Springer.
Oscar.
He can verify.
Oscar, it was 2002. Let it go.
Oscar.
Jerry.
I literally went from stop using railgun, and then you guys said stop using explosives, and
you
you
still
said
use
stop using the AR. I'm like, okay, what do you guys want me to use?
still use them.
Handguns? And I still beat you guys. Anyway, it's getting heated in here.
Anyways, my turn here. So, this one's tough. Third, because I have two games that I really loved, and they're both FPSs.
We can make one
GoldenEye.
honorable mention, man. Let's go with that route.
Yeah. No, but GoldenEye, I didn't really play the campaign, to be honest. I did
Yeah,
more.
you did. You beat the whole thing.
Yeah, that's easy. But
I didn't play it.
I didn't listen to it.
Oh,
I didn't really pay attention. It was based on the James Bond movie GoldenEye.
that's pretty accurate.
So, we played multiplayer, and man, I don't know. You guys can ask Steve, but I was pretty godly at that game. I knew every spawn point
For a
so-
9-year-old, I guess.
I was like 12. I was like 12. I knew every spawn point. So like I would literally put proximity mines in every spawning point. So if you died once against me, it was over. Like you just it's over. You just die.
You just sound like you're bragging.
Sounds like a screen peeker to
Did it
me.
not-
Yeah,
Spawn
you did.
points
Did
only
not-
matter when you can peek the other screen.
And then there was a game where I was playing against Steve, and I proximity mined every single
Weapon
gun
on the floor.
So I was like, I saw Steve, and I'm like, get the gun, Steve, get the gun.
It was actually your brother who said that. He walked in and I told him what was happening, and he was like, "Oh, get the gun, Steve. Get the gun."
He got the gun and died.
Well, I had nothing else to do. It was that
Spoiler.
you were just watching me, waiting me for it to explode. Like in the game, you were like James Bond, and you were just like, "Go ahead, go ahead."
It was fun. Yeah, that one was fun, but Counter-Strike, I think those two are like head to head. 'Cause Counter-Strike, it took FPSs to another level. I mean,
It's true.
everyone played Counter-Strike. Like if you were into video games back then, you played Counter-Strike.
if you had our Steam accounts, you would see that every one of us has owned it. Even people that don't even play PC, like we had like Chris on there, and before it's crazy.
No, it's like it was. There's. I mean, that's the first time it went into competitive play
I think so.
because they had leagues and stuff.
Yeah, well, there's like there's a couple of versions of Counter Strike. So there's the original version. There's
1.6,
1.6, which is always acclaimed as the best one.
Source, and CS:GO with Global
Yeah.
Offensive. But
Oh,
man,
there's one more, isn't there? Counter Strike. That
No.
came with the deleted scenes. There's one more, isn't there?
Condition 0. or-
Condition
there
Zero.
you go.
Yeah.
That thing was terrible.
That was like pre-source. Like
It was better than Source. I think Source looked like
I-
too.
what?
It was
I hated
animated.
Condition Zero because you had the shields, dude.
Dude, that was
That is what-
awesome.
yeah.
Oh, I hated the shields, man.
I like
dude,
the
we're not.
shields.
It's not Battlefield. Come on,
Yeah, no, but I
come on.
think
You can't
Counter-Strike
even
was-
iron sight.
Do you not remember like trolling people with the shield?
No, I didn't like it, but I think that thing was like super fun because we used to play those things at LAN parties.
Yeah.
Like it was just wow.
Dude,
remember one
hosting
time
those Counter Strike 1.6 servers or whatever.
Yeah,
That was
too.
a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we played that at a couple LAN parties. I remember one time I came to Oscars and I was playing it, and I guess they saw my like reactions when I was playing, like going pretty quick. When I was asking if they wanted to play when I went home or whatever, and they're like, after seeing you, never mind, because they were just like, you look
Scared, Oscar?
He was scared, man. He doesn't remember, but I do.
It was fun. I played a lot. That game was like I would just go home after school and just play for like 5-6 hours.
Right.
I got addicted to it for a while.
Hey Edgar, I don't know what your next game is going to be, but if you don't say World of Warcraft, then I think
You're lying.
You're lying.
I mean, I was greatly addicted to that, but I don't know. Like, I absolutely liked it at that time. I actually talked to Oscar about this. Yeah,
10
no.
years.
I mean, dude,
Don't you
I was
still play that
greatly
game?
addicted to that for, I mean, up until Frozen Throne. Frozen Throne?
No. Wrath of the Lich King.
God damn it.
Close enough.
Dude.
I know what you meant. I know what you meant.
Same
Fucking
thing.
Warcraft 3.
The
Close
expansion
enough.
to the game,
It
which
still,
was
it still
Wrath of the King.
involves Lich. Don't worry about it. Or Arthas. No, this one I'm kind of torn. Like Eric was saying, I do want to have like two that I want to talk about. I want to actually do my honorable mention first, which is actually SimCity 2000 of all freaking games. Dude,
I'm
those-
leaving the room, guys.
I love
this
those
is
building
bad.
styles. Like, you don't have to play with anybody. You just sit there and build a city.
That shit gets boring.
I know, but it's amazing.
I remember playing that like in 7th grade, but I had to.
No.
I did it, but like
SimCity.
30 minutes in, I would try to cause a natural disaster.
Because it was that
Yeah,
boring.
it was boring.
No, you see, that's the thing. I would build a city, and then when a natural disaster happened, like, I learned to control the fire department, the police department, whatever it was, just to calm it down and see how fast I can finally do it with the least
Super
amount of damage. Like, the least amount of collateral damage to happen. Like, it's super fun.
I
That's
don't
why I like cities skyline, I think it's what
So
it is
do you
now.
play the new Sims?
No.
Liar.
No, and
Well,
SimCity 4 was huh?
I said Sims isn't the same as SimCity.
Yeah.
No, yeah, Sims is people, dude.
But
That's
you like
boring as
you like
that's
SimCity,
boring
so.
as shit. That's what wannabe streamers want.
Did you
play?
play the
And consider a game.
Let's not.
I want to add to the SimCity talk because I played SimCity, but what made it fun for me was building the city was kind of like the boring part. But the one that I had, I don't remember which one it was, came with Streets of SimCity and then like another one that was like a helicopter version. So in Streets of SimCity, you were a car and you could run around the city you made. So you'd make all these fucked up roads and just ramp up. And then in the helicopter one, you were like a rescue helicopter or something. So there'd be a lot of disasters that happened, and you had to go with your helicopter.
That sounds
like-
pretty fun.
And
to put 'em out.
I
Yeah,
don't-
that was fun.
I don't think any of those games are good. I think Tycoon Roller Coaster was the best
Dude,
one.
I love that game too. Okay, so funny story about that. I literally convinced my mom to buy it for me because, quote unquote, we were doing like a project for like
Engineer.
science
Oh,
or something.
science.
No
And
way.
it just so happened to be about roller coasters. So I'm like, oh, let's buy Roller Coaster Tycoon. And she bought it, and then it wouldn't install on anything past Windows 98. We never returned it, but what are you gonna do?
You couldn't back then. You
I
couldn't.
still wanna take that.
compatibility mode it.
No, surprisingly.
That's so funny.
Or I guess unsurprisingly, I don't really know. But yeah, no. Anyway, since like I said, SimCity's fun. Like I think it kind of helps that's why I like Civilizations. Like you kind of build a city in a sense, and just games like that.
RTS, dude, that's more
Yeah,
RTS.
I mean it's more solo play, but it's fun. But the main one that I do want to talk about is Diablo. Like,
Farm Fest.
it is. It's like World of Warcraft light.
No,
Like,
not light.
no.
Eric, I don't know if you've noticed, we're noticing a trend for his games here.
Yeah, no, they're all bad Blizzard games aside from WoW.
I think you said bad games.
Aside from the Sim or SimCity. SimCity is not a Blizzard game either.
No, I know. Well, neither is Gran Turismo, and neither. Well, I guess it's whatever.
I don't know, man. Diablo. I mean, I like it. Don't get me wrong, but it's just like it gets to a point where you're doing the same thing,
but slightly different.
So yeah, like you said, it's
7,000
World
I
of
mean,
Warcraft.
okay,
Light.
if World of Warcraft,
It's not like
dungeons. No, if the dungeons shifted somehow to be procedurally generated the way that Diablo 3 dungeons are, that'd be great. Well, even Diablo 2. I mean, not everything is exact. No, that's exactly
the same.
We
No,
just
but
had a revelation
See,
on
it's
our
different
podcast.
because you run dungeons
Mhm.
or rifts or whatever, but you do it at a scope like in World of Warcraft. You do the mythic dungeons or whatever, right? And you can run them. It'll take you 30 minutes to an hour depending on how hard it is. But in Diablo, like it takes you 5, 10, 15 minutes, but you're doing that shit 100 times and hoping for a drop. Like that's a lot.
So let me get this straight.
That's 100 times if you quit, a weekend.
So let me get this straight. When I was playing World of Warcraft, and I was farming for Mythic Loot or even just Heroic Loot back in the day before they had Mythic, and I would do it 100 times or one time a week per dungeon, and I would get the same results like I did in Diablo. And you're saying it's not the same?
You're saying it's light. Imagine running that
Oh.
mythic dungeon
Okay.
1,000 times in one day.
No, it's heavy.
Yes.
Yeah, but a mythic dungeon actually takes you a while to run.
No, it's
Most
like I
of
said,
these runs
30
are
minutes
fairly
to
easy.
an hour.
It just
If
depends.
you
Yeah,
start
but I
going-
mean-
if you increase the difficulty on a rift, it takes you longer, right?
Yeah.
So the same thing with World of Warcraft right now. If you do because they go by numbers, right? A mythic 0, you can clean that thing out in 5 minutes.
Well, Diablo, you can do a lot of this solo too. That's the biggest thing. You
I
can
mean,
you
do it
can
solo
get
too,
the.
but that'll take like
I mean, that's until the next expansion, if that.
No, you can do it solo, but you have to be like a, blood decay and
Or you can sneak past like a Rouge.
ridiculously geared.
I don't know. I mean, the biggest thing with Diablo, at least, is you can go in there, create like Diablo 2 was great because you could create a lot of different builds that worked off of synergy. So when they shifted some items, it affected the way some builds worked and stuff like that. That's why firewall mages were huge for a while, or mages.
But see,
Oh my god.
I mean, honestly,
Forgetting Diablo 2 days.
they're pretty much, they're almost the same game.
Sorceress. Sorry.
Because the
Diablo
same thing
2
goes
Sorceress.
The same thing goes with World of Warcraft. Now, if you get a legendary, it changes the way you want to spec.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess I can't really speak for that since I haven't played Intense
Yeah.
forever. But I mean, Diablo 2 was also fun because, well, not fun. I'm going to say it's profitable back then because you can trade a lot. I mean, I spent a lot of my time in I think it was Diablo2.net or something, basically on the forums, trading runes, trading items, perfect weapons, stuff like that. And I mean, when Diablo 3 came out, I was also in the real money auction house. I didn't make a lot compared to like Diablo 2 days, but Diablo 2 throughout high school, you were literally getting people in high school giving you direct money for items, which was awesome.
Yeah, so I mean,
and
sorry.
you have less competition compared to the real world auction house where it's literally the world against you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we do in World of Warcraft. And then, I mean, not to mention, I mean, if you want to think about it, when it comes to like the games that we all played together, the common denominator is gonna be Blizzard, right?
Yeah.
We've all played Overwatch together. We've all played World of Warcraft. Most of us
Warcraft
played
3
Diablo
stuff,
together. I mean,
Well, I think it was their mentality of playing together without having to get together, which kind of sucks. But at the same time, paved the way for like massive
I mean, it was fun. I mean, you cannot
gaming.
admit that it wasn't fun. Like we've done like PvP together, which is player versus player. We've done arena. We've done raiding together. We've played with different factions. We've killed each other on it. It's like, it's nonstop fun when it comes to that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And in Overwatch, we've played in teams. We've gotten frustrated with each other. Played Diablos.
So we don't
you
play
guys will
anymore.
carry me. Exactly. We won't play anymore when it comes
Sorry,
to
we
that.
won't even touch Monopoly. God damn.
There's some
Oh,
board games.
remember?
Let's not talk about that.
We used to have a guy named Pablo in our group. He's gone.
But yeah, no, I mean, that's what I'm saying. And then I guess the whole point of naming our favorite games is most of them had to do with actually having some type of relationship with either with our friends or with our family. And
Except for Final Fantasy VIII.
no, I mean, honestly, I've talked to, with
Nah, I'm just
Clemente.
kidding, man.
Clemente is the person I would go to.
I
when
mean, you
I talk
locked
about
yourself
that.
in for 6 weeks, dude.
No, I didn't.
Yes.
I never did that.
Okay.
I'm not,
It was
I'm not-
5.5.
I'm not an Oscar renegade. But yeah. So I mean, those are our top favorite games. I'm sure a lot of them can differ, and we probably could have different depending on a different day, just because depending on our mood or what we were thinking about when it came to these games, because we have plenty of favorite games that we can talk about. But I think this is the most honest when it came to our favorite games that we can get.
I think these were more of like things that impacted us,
yeah.
or
It realistically is. Like, I know favorite can be very definitive for some people, but I mean, these are
Subjective.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, these are, at least for me, 3 of my most memorable because of specific reasons.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely never forget them. Am I playing them now? Maybe not as much as a favorite would deserve, but I
True.
still absolutely love those games.
Yeah.
Any
I wanna-
final thoughts, Eric?
I want to throw in my 2 cents before you guys move on. My favorite games were Borderlands 2 and Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver, which probably nobody here played.
Legacy of Kain, I did with you. I liked it.
I
okay.
think you streamed or put some gameplay
Yeah,
on?
I tried to put it up on YouTube and
Yeah.
it didn't work very well because the game kept crashing on PC for some
Ah.
reason. It's like
You're using an
super old.
emulator?
No, I actually bought it from Steam and GOG.
Oh,
and
wow.
neither one worked, so
It probably works now.
I'm gonna try again. But yeah, but Borderlands 2, I think almost everyone here played. I think I don't.
Yeah.
I believe.
Oh yeah, we all played. We all
Actually, funny thing about Borderlands 2, I actually bought the PS4 version just to play with Lita over there. Or PS3 version.
Who's
We
Lita?
played like one time.
Never met her.
My girlfriend. I'm just kidding. I mean, she is, but.
I just want to point out we beat the game together. So
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I see all of it's different a little bit. It doesn't have to be all together, but I mean,
I mean, we played most of these games together, anyways.
yeah, most of them, if not, we all talked about them.
Yeah.
But just to remind you guys, you can actually find us on our newest platform, and iTunes, exactly. We're actually at the Unexplorers. Actually, all of them are pretty much at the Unexplorers. They may have in between,
Just
like
our SoundCloud and Instagram is
Like-
_unexplorers.
yeah.
Everything
And the rest
else.
are Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. You can find us at one word, the Unexplorers, altogether.
Just a little FYI, our YouTube's a 1 week delay. So that's, just giving you guys FYI. there.
Yeah, so if you do listen to that, you'll see it a week later. Yeah, we have a lot of plans with making these podcasts and getting to YouTube. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Really appreciate your time and giving us feedback still. And
If you guys didn't like me on here, let them know.
Yeah, no.
Kick me off and never allow me back. I know these guys.
Yeah, no. Thanks, guys, because we keep getting a lot of feedback from our friends and family mainly, but people do give us feedback and we appreciate it. We actually take it, to heart. So please let us know what we can do better.
So again, we just want to give an extra big thanks to Luke, a good friend of ours.
Luke.
You can find him at Facebook at Rohin117. That's ROEHN 117.
And again, special thanks to One Clan Apparel for being our first ever sponsor. And yeah, check them out, guys, at oneclanapparel.com. And that's some pretty cool shirts.
They're also on Facebook and Twitter if you want to give them a follow.
Yeah.
See what cool stuff they have.
My favorite shirt is a pizza of my heart.
I like the gamer one, man. The Game Boy.
The Game Boy one. And Oscar. Which one do you like, Oscar? It was the cookie monster, right?
Chaser.
Cookie
Yeah.
Chaser.
That's some
Yeah.
pretty cool stuff out there. So check them out, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Well, again, we are
All strength.
No Int. Thank you guys for tuning in.
We love you.